Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First off, I'd like to say, Kahalal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Also would like to say peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect, the Akim, that's pushing his word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. For the Akwaf, the sisters who watch and believe, Shalom to you as well. Shalom to the new fruit, the new believers, the new viewership coming into this thing. Just back with another quick lesson. And I just wanted to go into a fundamental subject that I hadn't brought out a while since my early days learning about this truth. And it's a huge misconception out there that Israelites are Hamites. And we got to make that distinction clearly, because when we talk about the Hamites of the Bible, that would be who the world calls so-called Africans today, whether it be Egyptians, whether it be people from Somalia, Ethiopia, so on and so forth. All right. Now, that's not to say that there are not Israelites who may have dwelt in the land of what we know as Africa today, because if you look at a map, if you look at the proximity of Israel and in the continent of Africa on a map, it's a bordering state type of thing, to where you can even walk from Israel into Africa. And there's many accounts in the scriptures where that took place, But the point being made that I just really want to hammer home, every nation of dark people are not the same nation. OK, because even look today, you got so-called East Indians, which we know that their true biblical nationality, they're the Elamites. Some of them are darker than so-called Negroes, but we know that they're not Israelites. OK, so that shows that your complexion, the color of your skin, it ultimately does not determine your nationality. All right. Now, it's just an indicator, like we always say, but ultimately it's the spirit, to determine, your line, your lineage. It all goes back to the seed of your fathers. All right. And because we don't have any of the registry and the records, it's all through the spirit. OK. But the point being made, man, those people, the so-called Africans and the so-called Negroes, I'll say specifically, are not the same people, man. OK. Even though those cargo slave ships, came out of the western coast of Africa, and brought the southern tribe, the so-called Negroes, West Indians and Haitians, over to the Western Hemisphere. That doesn't mean that we're the same people, man. We don't have any identification with those people. And that's why the Africans, even to today, the so-called Africans, they don't really vibe with us even today, man, because Hamites are not the Israelites, because that's the true biblical identity of so-called Africans. They're Hamites, man. And then, of course, the son of Ham is Canaan. All right. But their progenitor or forefather all goes back to Ham. And I'll just read this. And this is quoting the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. And it says Ham, not the Negroes. OK, which the Negroes are you so-called blacks, for lack of a better word, that were brought over here to America by cargo slave ships. We don't have anything to do with the so-called Africans or the Hamites. But it says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, it means the forefather pretty much. It says he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. So here it is. It says Ham became the progenitor or the father of the dark races, not the Negroes, though. That's the exception. But the Egyptians, so-called Africans, Ethiopians, so-called Africans, Libyans, so-called Africans, and Canaanites, so-called Africans. So I'm just going to get a few scriptures that'll just back up the point that you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, especially that's in America, that descendants of slaves, man, you don't have anything to do with those so-called Africans, man. All right. Your spirit, our spirits are totally different spirits. Okay. But I'm going to go to prophecy real quick. Just bear with me one moment. I'm going to start off going straight to the prophecy real quick. Just to show that Israelites, we were among all nations. All right. According to the curses. Got to go back to Deuteronomy 28. All the way at the end. Deuteronomy 28 and 64. It says, "In the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." So according to prophecy, the children of Israel, we would be scattered among all people throughout the four corners of the earth. And that includes, amongst those Africans, the Hamites. Okay. And it's been occasions, I know, even when the Lord Yahweh Shah was born, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, I know Herod had put out that decree, to kill pretty much all of the, I think the 2-year-olds and under, pretty much the toddlers of the nation of Israel. And Yahweh Shah's biological parents, Joseph and Mary, they went into Egypt to hide. Why did they go into Egypt to hide? Because they can blend in Egypt. Why? Because that shows that the Egyptians were a dark nation of people. But just because they're another dark nation of people, that doesn't mean that we're the same nation. Okay? But just going to the next precept. This is Exodus 11:7. It says, "But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah," that's the Heavenly Father Yahweh, and his only begotten son's name is Yahweh Shah. It says, "that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." So the Most High put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Even though the Egyptians and the Israelites, specifically the Southern Kingdom, you so-called Negroes, you so-called West Indians, and you so-called Haitians, even though, those we're a dark nation of people, we're totally different people. We're two different nationalities. All right. So the Israelites don't have nothing to do with no so-called Africans, man. We're not Africans. Okay. The so-called Negroes that were brought over here in cargo slave ships, those descendants, those are the Israelites, not Hamites, not Africans. And it's just that simple, man. Okay. Because Esau Edom has come with that confusion campaign. I think this damn demon, I think he was German, Johann Blumenbach. He came up with the categorizing nations by color. That's why you have, Negroid, which would consist of the dark nations, and then Caucasoid of, so-called white people. And then Mongoloid would be even some I've heard people call so-called yellow people, which are the Orientals or the Asian people, just for lack of a better word, which we know their biblical nationalities are. They come from Moab and Ammon. That pertains to, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese. But the point being made, the Bible gives every nation a biblical identity. Okay. And Esau Edom, he's the main culprit that's always been trying to run away from his true biblical nationality that the Most High gave him. The children being the children of Edom. Their progenitor or forefather is Esau. When you read Genesis, the 25th chapter in the Bible. Okay. And all of the other nations round about, they also have a biblical nationality. But the point being made, man, you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, which would be considered, which most of the Southern Kingdom, a lot of those people have a dark complexion. Even me, myself, I have a so-called or a dark complexion, a dark brown complexion. We don't have anything to do with those damn Hamites. We're not Africans, man. Because, you grow up thinking you're African because on certain documents and applications it says African American, all of this confusion. We don't have nothing to do with no Africans, man. All right. And I believe, the apostles and bishop elders brought it out, years ago, that Africa, I think, the name Africa goes back to the name of a Roman general, if I'm not mistaken, Leo Scipios Africanus. OK. But just going to the next scripture, just to kind of further expound on the point that the so-called Negroes are not no Africans, man. We're Israelites. And the Spirit itself beareth witness that we're the children of Israel, like it says in Romans, the 8th chapter. And that's more of the many lies that Esau Edom has used to just try to confuse the world, man. Ultimately, the chief house of Edom, Amalek, man, just so they can try to put themselves in the lot of being the true Israelites. All right. But the prophecies always cover the true people. OK, because you can't get around prophecy at the end of the day, man. But I want to get this account. Where is it at? Bear with me one second, brothers. With the Apostle Paul in Acts 21. I think it's all the way at the end, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Find a good place to start. Okay, I'll start at verse 37. This is Acts chapter 21, verse 37. It says, and as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto thee? Who said, canst thou speak Greek? So the Apostle Paul, which Paul broke it down, I believe, when you read Philippians, the 3rd chapter, he says he was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. OK, but most likely, just based on the scriptures, with the accounts in the scriptures, Paul had a dark complexion. He was a dark skinned Israelite. All right. Which most Benjamites, a lot of Benjamites, I'll say it that way, are dark skinned. OK, they're different shades of brown, of course. But a lot of Benjamites, you so-called Jamaicans and Trinidadians and, just people, that today dwell, in the Caribbean islands. A lot of them have a dark complexion. OK. And then but here the chief captain asked the Apostle Paul, canst thou speak Greek? Because I believe Paul spoke 3 languages. Paul spoke Greek, Latin, and of course he spoke Hebrew. OK. And it says, verse 38, here's the point. It says, art not thou that Egyptian which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness, 4,000 men that were murderers? So Paul right here is being accused by the chief captain of being an Egyptian. OK, and most likely it's just based on his complexion. It's based on, what he looked like. OK, which shows, because some people are trying to say that the Egyptians were, pretty much like Arabs. And I've heard the Egyptians be everything under the sun, but the prophecy, you follow the prophecy, man. The Egyptians were so-called black people. OK, they weren't Israelites, but just for lack of better word, just for understanding's sake, they were people that had a dark complexion, with the world, what today we'll call black people. OK, but just because you're black, all black people are not of the same nationality. All right. So in this verse, Paul was mistaken for being an Egyptian just based on how he looked. OK. So, and we know, and it says, I'm going to just go to the reply. Verse 39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew, which we know that Jew is just a shortening of Judah. OK, which that's the head tribe of the nation of Israel. OK, so the Jews mainly were referring to the southern kingdom, the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, that's who the Jews were referred to. Okay, I'll read it again, Acts 21:39. But Paul said, I'm a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. So the point's been made in that verse, man, that Paul, in this account, he was mistaken for being an Egyptian just based on what he looked like, just his dark complexion. Okay. But the point I just want to tie together in this lesson, which we got to stump out these lies, and even Edomite scholars, because that's who put that Zondervan compact Bible dictionary together, man. They know the truth, man. I'll read that again. Matter of fact, this is the Zondervan's compact Bible dictionary, and this is just a quote from it. Of course, I don't have the hardback copy, but when it comes to Ham, because Noah, he had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, which the Israelites, we come from Shem, okay? But the so-called Africans, they come from Ham. All right? But it says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, probably born about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, all Hamites, not the Negroes, or I'll say the so-called Negroes, which we know that who the world calls so-called Negroes, those are the Israelites, most likely from the southern kingdom, most likely from the tribe of Judah. But Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, we all are called Negroes because of how we look usually, But the point I think has been made in this lesson, the Israelites are not Hamites, man. Those are 2 different nations, man. The Hamites are heathens, okay? Just because they're dark, they have a dark complexion, they don't have anything to do with the nation of Israel, okay? They come from Ham. That's not the chosen line, okay? So, with all being said, Lord willing, this edified, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect.